Instead of flooding your body with chemicals and removing organs because of these interferences, if you just remove the interferences out of your lifestyle and the way you live your life, it's amazing how your body heals.
Welcome to the 100-Year Lifestyle Podcast, dedicated to you and your loved ones living at 100% for 100 years and beyond. I'm your host, Dr. Eric Plasker.
Welcome everybody to the 100-Year Lifestyle, where we are transforming health and longevity worldwide so that you and your loved ones can live at 100% for 100 years and beyond. And welcome to 2022. We're going to start with a shout out to centenarians, new centenarians, Irene Crump and Phyllis Jones, who turned 100 together, twin sisters in Raleigh, North Carolina. Happy birthday to you. Still healthy, still functioning, eating healthy, still working out there in the world. And we're excited for you. Thank you for being an example of what's possible. So that's the first bit of news I want to mention. The second bit of news, this was an article in the New York Daily News in July 3rd, actually, of 2021. And I love the title of this article. It's "You're turning 100, question mark, big deal, exclamation point." And why is that title so relevant? Because there are so many people that are turning 100. It's like, what's the big deal? Everybody knows a centenarian. Everybody knows a 90-year-old person. Everybody knows an 80-year-old person that's still doing things in their life. Heck, the politicians out there are in their late 70s and 80s, and some of them getting up into 90 years old. And listen, we have to understand that living longer, that is the norm from now on. And to do it well, quality of life is going to depend on your choices. Whether or not you're living your 100-year lifestyle, the principles that we teach in the 100-year lifestyle, or whether you're living the rot away and decay as a human preservative on all kinds of drugs, 3, 5, 10, 20 medications, as a zombie for the last decades of your life. We want you to live. We believe that your most productive years, in fact, research shows that your most productive years may be in your 60s and 70s and even into your 80s. And so why put your wisdom on a shelf? Be thinking long-term. Find things that you're passionate about. Make your life, center your life around those things, and live that quality of life for 80, 90, 100 years and beyond. The actual statistics from the U.S. Census Bureau: 53,000 people in 2010 over the age of 100 in 2010, but now exceeding 90,000 in 2020. So it doubled from 2010 to 2020. And according to the research, they expect that number to continue to grow. Well, unfortunately, that's great news. But unfortunately, there's another phenomenon that's happening, which is troubling. And that is that in spite of the fact that people are living longer, the life expectancy in the United States and in most industrialized nations, we are seeing the life expectancy go down, which is the average number, the average age that people die. And so it's going down. It's down to about 76 years old. It was over 80. Now it's down to about 76 in the United States. And people ask me all the time when they hear that statistic, "Dr. Plasker, that seems like a contradiction. How is that happening? Why is that happening? How could that possibly be?" And the answer is, and it's very sad and it's very troubling, and don't worry, we have the solution for you, but it's troubling because it's that the younger people, the younger generations, are dying younger and sicker than ever because of unhealthy lifestyles. Suicides on the rise, inflammatory conditions on the rise, heart attacks, strokes, all these types of stress-related conditions, autoimmune disorders are on the rise. Not because we are lacking in human potential, that's not why, but because we are living unhealthier lifestyles, the environment is getting more toxic, and we have the ability to take control over all of those things. Which leads me to our topic of the day, which I'm excited about, which is primary care with a natural flair. There's a phenomenon going on in our practice. We have a practice, chiropractic practice, holistic practice, 100-year lifestyle office in Marietta, Georgia. We attract people from all over the state. We attract people really from all over the country and even all over the world. And many of our 100-year lifestyle chiropractors are doing the same thing in their communities. And what's important, if you understand this phenomenon, this primary care phenomenon, people are searching for primary care with a natural flair. They are sick and tired of the drugs. what has happened in this pandemic is people have woken up to the pharmaceutical criminality in so many ways, the coercion. And it used to be just people like myself or people in the holistic world that were doing the research and paying attention to all the research, and they would see it and they're like, what is going on? And we would try to wake our families up and our parents up that were coming into our practices, and we start attracting generations of families. So a mom would come in or a dad would come in. They'd bring in their kids, they'd refer their grandparents, their aunts, uncles, cousins, sisters, brothers, etc. Or they'd hear about pediatric care with a Natural Flair. They got sick and tired of the pediatricians just being an outlet, a distribution center for vaccinations. And so they were like, you know what, we don't want to do this. This doesn't make any sense. There's no research about it. They're seeing the new research that came out in 2020 about how the people that did not, kids that did not receive jabs were healthier, much healthier, significantly healthier than people that did receive jabs. And that information is everywhere. We'll put a link to some of that information in the text or the context of this podcast. And what's important for you to understand is that we are finding this out, and we used to tell people, just do the research. But because of the censorship, you try to research and it's really hard to find good information that has not been doctored up or farmed up. And so we want you to know that you can do this, like so many of the other families that are reaching out to our doctors, reaching out for this information. They're saying, you know what, I want to do this. I want to raise my kids. I see my parents that they are rotting away as human preservatives, those beautiful people on 5, 10, 15, even 20 medications. It is absurd. It's insane. I really think it's a strategy to drain the retirement accounts and the estates of these people, to just make them dysfunctional, non-functional, and take their brains and require so much care, which, by the way, is not happening in so many other countries around the world. And so we want you to think differently, and we want you to understand that you can do this too. We did it. We did it. Our family raised our kids this way. This year is an exciting year for me. I say it's an exciting year for me personally. I'm turning 60 this year. I don't feel 60. I don't feel like I look 60. I'm getting ready to go on a ski trip and pound some moguls and go 30, 40, 50 miles an hour down a slope. I'm an expert skier. It's one of my favorite things to do. I get to do it with my kids, which is great. My adult kids, also chiropractors. We're going to visit them out in Bend. And we're excited about that opportunity. We want the same thing for you. And when I think about the way that we raised our family, my wife and I, we don't take medication. We do not have a medicine chest. We have a bathroom cabinet. We don't have medicines. We eat healthy. We get adjusted. We work on our thoughts, positive thinking. We do things to make us less vulnerable. We have community in our practice and with our doctors that we network with, and with our friends at Life University, and with our friends at Chiro Congress, and groups that we are affiliated with that we really believe in, that we support, Moms Across America, and just all kinds of people that think like us, that are popping up, creating communities, because we do believe, and we know research explains this, it shows this, that community equals immunity. That's in our ebook, by the way. If you haven't downloaded our ebook on becoming a least vulnerable person, go ahead and download it. We're going to have multiple ebooks that are popping up this year. And the reason is we are committed to educating you about the amazing capacity of the human body, and to trust more in yourself and your body's innate intelligence than you do in pharma, that is literally a machine just trying to sell products and create pharmaceutical consumption. You know, it's really interesting when you think about this unhumanitarian effort that has happened over the last 2 years that has created multi-billionaires out of so many. It is the most inhumanitarian effort that has been sold as a humanitarian effort. And anybody that's conscious and is awake is realizing that that's true. So we're excited about being able to teach you. When our kids were younger, our kids grew up without shots, without drugs, without pediatricians. We raised them that way. We figured that if we had conceived this child and grow them from one cell from mom, one cell from dad, they came together and they formed a human being with quadrillions of cells, with the heart in the heart place, and the lungs in the lungs place, and the nose where it's supposed to be, and the ears where it's supposed to be, and the heart beating, and the stomach digesting, and the breast milk coming, and all of the ways that we have been made to be literally near perfect in almost every way. And so we had more faith in that than we did in any unhumanitarian effort that is being sold as humanitarian effort. And because we had faith in that and the body's ability to heal itself, and we understood that the immune system was built within our children when they were born, they had an immune system, and we just needed to do the right things, keep them healthy, nurture their innate intelligence, and keep the interference out of the way. And if we did that, then they would grow up healthier. And so we did it that way. And so what are those things that are interference to the expression of health to you, regardless of your age? What are the things that are interference to your child's health, to your parents' health, to your grandparents' health? And it's very simple. I'm going to give you 3 things. We're going to talk about them more throughout the year and in future podcasts, but I want to give you the overview today. So the first type of interference is nerve interference. Nerve interference is when you have interference to the nervous system, the communication system between the brain and the body. And that can happen in all kinds of ways. It can happen from toxicity. It could happen from an injury during the birth process. It could happen from chemical changes that because of invasiveness from the birth process or other ways that there was invasiveness. And so that interference neurologically can affect development. It can happen because of vertebral subluxation, injuries to the spine, the neck, and the spine that happen from the birth process, or learning to walk as a child, or sports when kids are young, or falling on the playground, things like that, that can cause nerve interference that interferes with the communication between the brain and the body. These are the things that we work with every single day in our office. We had a new patient come in the other day who this child was injured at birth, and this child has had ear infection after ear infection after ear infection, and unfortunately this family didn't know about primary care with a Natural Flair, the kind of care that we offer and many other people offer. And so they went the route where they had multiple rounds of antibiotics, shots of antibiotics, and it's really affecting this child's immune system in ways that are scary, dangerous, and unfortunate. And unfortunately, we were able to intervene, and it just happened the other day that we got to see this child, and I'm sure we're going to see results because we pretty much always do. The quicker that you intervene and remove that interference, the better it is for that child. Other types of interference. There's lifestyle interference, things that we do in our lifestyle that get in the way of the expression of health, that natural flair of health and vitality that we all have inside of us. And so what are some of those things? Well, it's overeating, eating processed foods. A lot of it is related to nutrition. Eating processed foods, foods that are filled with chemicals and toxins and glyphosate, and processed meats and antibiotic-filled meats and fillers that can really hurt the digestive process, can affect your gut, can affect your immune system, in so many ways. And so when you have that type of lifestyle interference, maybe it's sports injuries, maybe it's sitting too much, maybe it's stress, perceiving too much stress in your environment. These are lifestyle things that will cause your body, break your body down and weaken your body. And instead of flooding your body with chemicals and removing organs because of these interferences, if you just remove the interferences out of your lifestyle and the way you live your life, it's amazing how your body heals. It's primary care with a Natural Flair. The last one that I want to mention real briefly is environmental interference, things in the environment. Again, toxicity in the air you breathe and the shots that you put into your body, the chemicals that are being put into your system. There's an article on 100-Year Lifestyle right now. It's called Epidemic of Nerve Disorders, where Dr. Zeev, medical doctor, talks about the thousands and thousands of chemicals that are on the planet today that did not exist 30 years ago, and how they are affecting the nervous system. We are creating an epidemic of neurological disorders that all of these things combined, they are affecting the body's ability to function. They are causing all kinds of problems. And rather than starting to treat these problems with drug after drug after drug after drug after drug, or removing body parts when it's too late, if you just focus, change your perception, focus on removing the interference, it is amazing how your body responds. We have a great saying out of the 100-Year Lifestyle. It's one of my favorite sayings because it helps change people. And it goes like this. It says, your innate intelligence will organize around the thoughts that you think, the choices you make, and the lifestyle that you live. So why is that so important? Because it puts you back in control. Your innate intelligence will organize around your thoughts, your choices, and your lifestyle. So what do I mean by that? So let's say you have this interference that's out there in the world. Maybe it's a stress or maybe it's traffic, and you perceive that this stress is the end of the world. Your body reacts to it. It creates a strain on your body. It weakens the immune system. It weakens the nervous system, weakens your body. And so what happens as a result of that, your body organizes around that. So if you have chronic stress and you're doing that, living that day in and day out, and you don't address that thought process that is, because some people, honestly, they use that time in traffic, if they're sitting in traffic, and they'll listen to podcasts like this. They'll empower themselves with new knowledge, or they'll work at home, or they'll find something closer to where they live, or they'll change their lifestyle to remove the interference rather than just getting in the car, taking all kinds of drugs, eating bad food while they're driving, getting to the office, drinking lots of pop soda that's got all kinds of crap in it, sugar, eating the donuts at the counter. Those days are over. Come on, we have to wake up, because our innate intelligence will organize around that. It's not going to kill us. It will organize around it. It'll make us fatter. It'll make us unhealthier. It'll lower our immune system, but it will try to keep us alive before it kills us. And if you change your lifestyle, it'll change back. So you have control over those things, your thoughts, your choices, and your lifestyle. And your innate intelligence will organize back around it. You know, I'm going on a ski trip and I'm training for skiing, and I'm training differently for my ski trip than I do on a regular basis, because I want to make sure that all the joints, the muscles, I'm getting adjusted with a little bit different type of technique that Dr. Corey is doing on me. I'm eating a little differently. I'm doing movements that are mimicking what I'm going to be doing when I'm on a ski slope. And so my body, I could feel it. It's organizing around the changes in my lifestyle so that it's preparing me to do the things that I want to do in my life in a healthy way. And you could do the same thing. So it's kind of common sense, these things that we're talking about. You know that you have an innate intelligence. Your children are growing. Are they growing correctly, or are they growing wrong? Well, that depends on the lifestyle that they're living, the choices that they're making. We have a patient that just is in a movie right now. It's called, his name is Max. He's a great kid. We love him dearly. His posture was not good when he started coming. The family comes in, they get adjusted, they understand the importance of chiropractic care, and because of his posture growing, it's changed his whole demeanor. His friends recognized it. He's standing up straighter. He's in this incredible movie, Home Sweet Home Alone. I say incredible. I'll let you determine how much you like or don't like the movie, but I love that Max is in it, and he's building a great resume for himself, and he's doing it in a healthy way. So listen, your body will organize around your thoughts, your choices, and your lifestyle. We have so many people, they embrace this primary care with a natural flair. They start to nurture their body's innate intelligence. When their innate is telling them yes, they say yes. When it's telling them no, they say no. When they're picking up that medication and they're analyzing, should I continue to do this or not? When they're going to seek out doctors, they're looking for doctors like our 100-Year Lifestyle affiliate chiropractors, or holistic people that are working with their innate intelligence and not just treating symptoms, but making this transition, as we talk about, from crisis care mentality to lifestyle care. That's what primary care and a natural flair is really all about. And of course, in emergency situations, we're glad we have those emergency centers that are there for us, because you know what? That's what they're there for, but they are not healthcare. They are crisis care. And we want to make sure that you know that you have a choice to live primary care with a natural flair and not just go to get drugs or shots. That is so important. You know, when I think back about healthcare costs, because there's a lot of people concerned about healthcare costs. I was watching a podcast just recently where they were talking about the same things that I'm talking about, and I've been talking about for decades now, that the industry that takes care of children, the pediatric industry, has become so irrelevant in so many ways. They are an industry in big time trouble. Why? Because people are not trusting pharma anymore, and pharma has been giving them their education for decades, and the only thing they know is shots and drugs. They don't even know a lot about nutrition. And that's, listen, there's some great pediatricians out there, but as a whole, the way the industry is modeled, there are so many parents that are concerned. This is not just me speaking to you about it, but parents are saying, I'm really concerned. I'm really frustrated with my pediatrician. I'm really frustrated with my doctor. They won't let me ask questions. I ask for natural solutions, and they don't have any of those answers. So we're excited that parents and people are seeking that out, people of all ages, shapes, and sizes. And when I think about how our healthcare costs have been in my family and the families that we have taken care of, and the doctors that we work with, the families that they have taken care of, over the last 32 years of my children growing up and becoming adults, etc., our healthcare costs, I don't think, including their birth processes, I don't think we've spent out of pocket $25,000 to $30,000 over 30 years on everybody's healthcare, because we, with common sense, getting adjusted on a regular basis, getting checked on a regular basis, eating healthier, we have just been very fortunate and stayed healthy. But it's not just luck. We have a great podcast that we did early on. One of our first podcasts was called We Are Not Just Lucky. We did it with the Coxons, Dr. Adam Coxon and his wife Jamie. They have 4 beautiful kids. They are 100-Year Lifestyle affiliate chiropractor in South Carolina, Rock Hill, South Carolina. And, we talk about, people will say, well, you're just lucky, Dr. Plasker, that you guys are so healthy. And the reality of it is, no, we're not just lucky. Yeah, we're lucky, but we're not just lucky. We have been making good choices, and our healthcare costs have been so low as a result of it over the years. We've probably spent during that same time period $300,000 to $400,000 on medical insurance that we've never used, because we just rarely ever need to go to the doctor. And when we do, we go that natural care with a primary care with a Natural Flair route. So you can do that too. It takes discipline. It takes a little trust. It takes education. We're here to give it to you because we believe in your human potential. We believe in your longevity potential. We know that retirement is an outdated concept in so many ways, and that your 60s, 70s, and maybe even into your 80s may be the most productive years of your life. We know that you have human potential, that your wisdom should not be put on a shelf. So we are excited about the opportunity for you to live up to your potential. We call it 100% for 100 years. 100% for 100 years, every decade, looking at the things, and we're going to explore this on 100yearlifestyle.com. We're going to explore this in future podcasts. We're going to explore this in many articles. We're going to explore this in live interviews that we do and in different places. And we wanted to just set the tone for you for 2022 to take your life back, to let go of the fear, to trust more in yourself and your innate intelligence than you do in the mainstream media that is brainwashing people to live in fear. So with that, I want to invite you to be a part of our family, to come visit us, go visit some of our providers, get involved, get engaged in 100-Year Lifestyle, download our ebooks, like our pages, visit us on a regular basis. We're going to be popping out resources like crazy this year, probably more than ever, because we're more committed than ever to equipping you with wisdom and experience, real life experience. We have lived this way for 60 years. We have raised our family this way. So have many of our doctors. We want you and your loved ones to live your lives at 100% for 100 years, your ideal 100-year lifestyle. So thanks for being with us today, everybody. Please share this with your friends, your family. Please rate us, give us a 5, like us, share us. And until next time, Dr. Eric Plasker signing out.
Thank you so much for joining us on the 100-Year Lifestyle Podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have topics that you want us to cover, people you want us to interview, maybe you have some stories that you want to share, stories of yourself, loved ones, people in your life, we would love to hear from you and share your story. Please email us at my100@100yearlifestyle.com. And remember, nobody wants to get to 100 or even 50, 60, or 70 for that matter, crippled, broke, and alone. So please share the 100-Year Lifestyle, all of our podcasts, social media pages, website. with your family, friends, and coworkers so they can take this journey with you. And until next time, adjust your lifestyle. Live your best life today and every day on the road to a sensational century. Dr. Plasker, signing off.